so 真别着白了了那么在这。谈别接来南个家不当，接定觉接半别三个人。日三百下来所谓的，家这三百下来所谓的，长觉多见多根不见些，海北来也。皆所以见解了，念对着外真没心念着，那么个见在下来所闻的，那么个见在下来所闻的。些年不多我，那么只真在这为下了，长久多结个我结个我，这为这个什么来所谓的。这为个什么来所谓的，来多那代在什么结果？没论给我就给别着。看嘛什么为根不人不知，你的节目什么来所谓的？你的节目什么来所谓的？那么大尊真啊，大尊真吧，有为不蒙的啊，大错那，出门家子太子门大吧，这为真吧。什么来所谓的？这为真白什么来所谓的？三百金家人出来安尼呗，人着为根结家把所着罗。这里三百单百年在吧，得来没下来所谓的，百年来没下来所谓的，我这边我这前不。尊的巴拉，现你所见的在说呢，太教拉曼的结在的个么下，假为什么什么来所谓的？呀为什么什么来所谓的？每种人的自己三界， 太别起来，南个家不堂，接定这些半别三个生。二在三辈下来所我的，家在三辈下来所我的，常觉多结这个不结些。海边来也接所以见见，也对着我这边见见着，那么个见在下来所的。南个将在下来所的，妹妹在外的家家的些，这me见别往不见别样。看见给别所见所个吧，来在这别家来所，来在这下完来所。这边我这家别家做当，贴着面年满给了吧，年年子本子怕所见，大面拉嘛。什么来所谓的大面拉嘛？什么来所谓的？所以就个年去见多少见等，过什么我就叫我也啥吧。我多拿到三界一切着，对见不什么来，给这见不什么来说。来在这界在别界，天一多些关在家在身，拉玛在在来在也些的。这尊拉玛什么来说？这拉玛什么来说的？他的本将啊，我也长白等。天也多些来三年大小，家做大也得大言啊，真正拉玛什么来说的？真正拉玛什么来说的？来在一些灯白了也结，来这三百这个那么准子。三家为这做真给把村民拉 sumo lai sovainde Tsome lama sumo lai sovainde Kaya san nama ende shibe lundoide She zhe nye jie zhen lai da zhe wa Kaya zhen ya me za vi la ma la Goi samo gui bai jian boi so wai de Goi sum gui bai jian bai so wai de Ande dam barai charai ve jin goro je Rime ni je be re dai so nye za Ke zan de je me je gun de nye Den den ge doi sha lai so wai de Den den ge doi sha lai so wai de De so ma ja wa ne ai ma lu de be La wai so ma ja Le xie zhe ge su La wai sum jun de lun zhui jia zhi du Chen jie la be guo lai su wai de Tian jin zhi be guo lai su wai Chang bai zun de lai sui pa nu ru ji Tui ji le da mai jiang de jin bei zi Na mai jie jie le jia zi gu jie jie Yai jia jie jie la ma rai so wai Jia jie jie la ma rai so wai de Lo san jia wai gun jie ye jie ne Jie de jie me jiang de jin bei zo Ra wai zheng ma gun guo jia zui zhi wei Tian jie la ma zhuan lai so wai de Tian jie la me sha wa lai so wai de Nga wai lai sai jia lai de jin bei so Jian ge jiang zai la ba de zhi wei zuo Sam wai ju zun bai me bai si Na ba zhi wen de lai so wai de Nam ba ran zhi wen de lai so wai de Me zhong le zhe san bei ya wei de Bei lai ji men dai de zhi jie jie Ke wang gai jie mang de nu wei zhi Ta ye du jie gun jie so wang de Ta ye du jie gun lai so wai de Rawai Jama Esora Kumala Davime Kesanta Bai Jobe Jomu Jebe Jobe Taba Gente Bai Sante Shenye Namala Yesova Sanje Shenye Namala Yesova Paide La Me Nambara Yatava Keje Zamaya Loda Mejeshin Jendele Barato Vemogedi La Meje La Sema La Jubarajo Little English. Yende Winje Shi Jo Jin Jin Je Sui Jia Tenpa Lam Ji Zawa Le Bara Tong Nian Be Ba Tu Ma Yi Gu Ba Chen Bu Tenpa Ra Jin Ji Lin Ji Nye Bia Ta Bia Ten San Di Tun Je Nye Ga Tun Je Che Ju Yin Jie Gun Du Ning Bo Len Be Lo Jun Che Me Ba Jie Wa Ra Jin Ji Lu So Ye Wai Ju Ye Ju Wu Jie Nyu Du Ji Be Ji Wa Chen Ba Xi Wei Jie So Lu Dan Ji Ma Ji Ma Lin De Ji Ji Re Zhang Wa Nye Ba Ten Bo Nye Nie Nye Be Zo Ta Xin Ta Wa Nam Jiang Pong Wa Ge Zo Ta Dai Zhu Wa Jie Ba La Da Du Pa Dang Ten Ba La Jin Ji Ji Bie Mi Ngo Du Nga Gun Ji Go Ye Di Mi Ro Si Pe Peng Zo Ye Mi Re Ne Ta Be De Wa La Du Nye Jin Bo Jie Wa Ra Jin Ji Nam Da San Ba Di Ye Zhang Ba Ye Zhen Da Xie Jin Ba Yue Jin Bu Den Bie Za Wa So So Ra Ta Ba La Zhu Ba Ning Bu Ra Jie Ba Jin Ji Rang Ye Se Zo Ra Long Wa Ji Jin Du Man Yu Zhou Wa Gun Jiang Ten Zhao Tong Nian Zhou Wan Zhou Wei Gu Jie Wei Jiang Zhou Sem Zhou Zhong Ba Ra Jin Ji Sem Zang Na Jie Jiang Cun Di Man Nam Song La Kong Ba Me Na Zhang Zhu Min Zhu Le Ba Ra Tong Nie Jie Se Dong Ba La Zong Ba Zha Be Lo Ba La Jin Ji Lo Be Yu La Yin Wai Xi Jie Jin Yang Pa Tun La Zu Xin Jia Bai Xi Nie Lang Do Song Du Zhe Be La Nyu Du Ju La Jie Wa La Jin Ji Dong Lam Zhang Ne Du Ju Ba Na Te Ba Gun Jie Chou Ju Ren Du Jie Gan San Jie Wei Ju Ngo Tam Ba Den De La Nyu Du Ju Ba Ra Jin Ji Te Te Ngon Zhuo Nam Nie Zhu Wei Xie Nam Da Tam Zi Dong Ba Song Wa Jia Ma Min Bie Ne Ba Ni Ju Ne So Dang Dui De Song Wa Jin Ji Ten Ne Ju De Ning Bo Rin Ni Jie Ne Nama Ji Jin Dong Ne Zong Ba Yi Peng Ni Che Le Mi Ye Wa Tan Be Song Xin Zhu Ba Ra Jin Ji Ta Ta Ra Lam San Dun Bie Jin Nian Tang Su Xin Zhu Bie Zhong Na Xia De Che Dang Nan Ge Pa Du Zhe Be Zuo Nie Wa Xi Wa Ra Jin Ji La Du Jia Wa Gun Du Yang Da La Ma Tang Zha Me Zhi Jie Be La Long Zhi Sa Dang Lam Jie Yuan De Ra Zuo Nian Du Xie Chang Ge Ko Wa Nyu Du Zhu Om Beza Beme Om Jin San Shi Om Beza Che Jare Koyo Ge Kowe Uso Re Gya Kore Ra Sha Lo Ba Bo Lo Sambo Lo Ba Na Jo Ja Ja Me Nye Beda Na Ba Na Ya Da Na Ya Je Jo Na Da Na Jo Jo Da Me Nye Da Da Me Nye Wen Bo Je Re Wo Ma San Ge Shen De Je Ba Ma Ma Ba Ye Lo Ho Rinpoche, Nobo Rinpoche, Sumo Rinpoche, Longbo Rinpoche, Langbo Rinpoche, Tasho Rinpoche, Mabo Rinpoche, Dushinpo E Pumpa, Ye Ma, Shengwa Ma, Lo Ma, Ka Ma, Medo Ma, Dugo Ma, Nazo Ma, Trisha Ma, Nye Ma, Da Wa Rinpoche, Do Chile Namba Gyawe Gya, Uso Kadam Ne Benjo Bun Song Song Pa Ma Song Wa Me Tang Chi Yi Do Wong Wa Ti Da Shin Shen Sa Wa Dang Gyu Pa Che Pe Pa Dan La Ma Tam Pa Ke Pa Do Ya Yung Zo Den Pe Nga Da Je Sun Lo Sang Gyao Den Shi Zhe Wen Zhu Pe Sang Po Shen Ai Te Pa Chen Po Song Jiao Sang Mo Shi Wei Yen Du Xin Gang Po Ai Gyu Tu Je Zhe Wei Dun Du Shi Sun Ene Gyang Da So Zhou Wa Ma Gyu Nang Ge Ta Da Nyang Pe Sem Shen Tam Shen 兔子我全部过年献给老多也说人不人家 Yedam Guru Rana Mandala
Sanje Chula Soje Sonamba Chancho Bado Danye Kyakuji Dage Chushi Jibe Sonandi Chula Penche Sangye Rupa Cho Sanje Chula Soje Sonamba Chancho Bado Kyakuji Rupa Cho Sanje Chula Soge Chonamba Chancho Bado Danye Kyakuji Dage Juje Gibe Sonange Rola Penche Sangye Rupa La Dana Meme Dama Jaya Ombo Da Jazin Lazo Chuje Jola Chawa Cheba Nama Sonje Sumba Rade Shende Jujo Nida Sheje Dame Chunye Chene De She Naye Ke Dana Dana Jege Ron Dana Me Ke Dana Roa Kunye Dana Jisamba Dam Jege Dage Chudon Lo 마제나 게 다도 냠베 심제 담제 돈에 도자나나면 봐 용도 봐도 손제 공부는 뭐 제전에 저도 벌자 대제도 담배 주세 냠베 코노 군주를 만나는데 봐서 담네 셈버셔.
For the sake of all mother sentient beings equaling the limits of space, one must attain this precious state of full enlightenment, Buddhahood, by every means. For this purpose, one should not listen to these teachings. So therefore, please clarify motivation in such a way and listen in such a manner. Yes.
이 말이다. 공생바자의 주인은 사점제 도매집을 조주 남제를 봐. 레단 제벽까지 대단히 단다. 집에 중국가. 근데 집에 중국 남제 외제 근데 잠도 달는데 대는 잠도 뭐대다 배요. 단다가. 잠도 나오자. 잠도 나오자. 레카르지 뭐 지수 좀 배고네. 지자체성 그 표지 줘 봐서야. 다 된참데.
So then the teachings that we are listening to are the teachings, that which is the sole lamp of the three grounds, the graduated path of enlightenment. And within this text, we have come to the section on the path corresponding to the lower scope, being of the lower scope, and within that, the practice of refuge, the precepts of refuge. And within that section, then we have come to the outline by recalling the great kindness of three jewels, striving to worship them constantly by offering the first portion of food and drink. Yes.
저거 표되거나 아니던다. 초빙 후보 강성하다. 이 말이다. 권자체와 텐데 중반이나 대조제 선무사게 요인데 강성하는 제고가 있어. 대연에 투징고사도 너미 세사다는 마인지 강성하는 자고다. 자유 수련은 뭐가 군지 좀 돌세한다와를 명시 샤라베 숨르지 정모 숨바레 다 그러다 보나 투세야지 사야지 소하루 안데 루도제 많이 나는 거 뭐자요. 근데 투지다 뭐사대 도가인데 되는 부지요 말이지. 다 소마 로만이나 세보자도 님바자로 디 세상의 부지요 말이지. 다 대답 그 부야지 요아니나 공성원의 부고지. 그다 라마다바도 부야니나 아니 제도 공성원의 부고. 다 라마데는 좀보도 도움이지야지. 그냥 말 지기요나 라마도 공지바데 부나 죠. 다 대마도 아니 부가블라 공성성지 부고요래서.
So when one is making offerings, one should ensure that the materials that are being offered are of the best quality that one can find, and also one should make as extensive offerings as possible, make the offerings as extensive as possible. In this way, one will ensure that one creates the most merit, one receives the most merit out of the offering. So one should strive to ensure the best quality as well as the most extensive materials when making offerings. And here in the text it mentions, it quotes on page 200 of the text. It says here, Geshe-Sarwa stated, "Do not offer things such as moldy sweet cheese and yellowed leaves, but use what you have that is good. Offering the first portion of tea will not be beneficial if it is done like the clearing away of some dust." So here when one is making, here it says here cheese, there's a specific kind of sweet cheese in Tibet called tu. And when this cheese turns moldy, then it takes on the blue color. So here Geshe-Sarwa was saying that one should not offer things of quality like that. Like whether the cheese is moldy, should not be offered. It's not suitable for offering. Likewise, also when one offers vegetables, and if they were to be like half wilted, turn yellow from wilting, then these are not suitable quality for offering. When one makes offerings, one should offer the best. And when one makes offerings to one's Lama, in general, one should offer the best. However, depending on what delights Lama, if the Lama delights in materials of a lesser quality, of a bad quality, then that is what, since that pleases the Lama, then that is what one should offer. If that is not the case, then in general, one should offer whatever is of the best quality to the Lama. Yes.
자이프 순례는 뭐가 군지 좀 도세만 다르면 그래 다 자이 그래 부인도 거나 자마 나비하게 튜인지 세나리 다 소지 된지지 노네네 부지 부이나 다들 자 도사네 반네 많이나니 도르시비서 텔라파 유기서 샤기로 된지로 말해서
So when one offers the first portion of tea, here so when one is putting, for example, like the tea leaves within a vessel, then some people then sort of like remove the bad portions of the tea leaves. Remove the bad portion of the tea leaves. So then when one makes offerings, it should not be like that. It's like clearing away the dust or the bad portions of the tea leaves. It should not be done. When one makes offerings, it should not be similar to this action. Yes.
대단 좀 보고 다른 데서 들리던 중이 신사담마 뒤지 담지도 준제 매바 데리지 상황답이 좀 만들라는 대비쇼지 선놈이 시험해봐 조지 지 너도 숨어도 자주 맞으면 치시는 거 많이 넣어 이 말이다 담합이 신송모지요지 신송모되라 그래 상황마다 벌리이나 그래 통심지네 요me 보고 따고 요me 보고 용기요래 담만 봐. 다 된 나오신다나 군조대 손놈 소시 신 이말에 대형다 신가 야슈질로 되실라 대비초야 된데 용기요래 봐. 된 나오신 군조기 신라 되지가 되지 탐지도 델리 상원 담네 이말에다 델리 상원답 초가 된지 요디 대라니 선업사주 말루가 마정하지 레바이나 신도 봉말해서 이다 대신은 자네는 도대죠 대비쇼지 선놈지 신매버 조지 송요레스 배신모 연구거나 다 신모지게 쉬으셔야지 용요로 뒤촌은 대바지 말다 손놈지 신 대비 쇼지 손놈지 신매버 조지스 대 이말에 된대전에는 신기 손노다 고조지 대라 대비 쇼지는 손놈 소거레스 손.
Then next in the text it quotes from the sutra which says that in ordinary fields, ordinary fertile fields, if one were to, even though the field is fertile, but if one were to plant seeds, sow seeds in that field at the wrong season, at the wrong time, then one would accrue a loss. The seeds do not ripen into crops, so because one plants at the wrong season. However, here it mentions, refers to the 3 jewels as being the best fields of merit, because within these fields of merit, one can plant the seeds of goodness and happiness within all 4 seasons. Therefore, the merit field, the 3 jewels as a merit field, is a totally all-seasonal merit field whereby one can plant the seeds of goodness and happiness at all times. And if one ignores such an act of planting the seeds of goodness and happiness in these fields of merit, one acquires a great loss. One receives a great loss for not doing so. And these fields of merit, just as ordinary fields having planted the seeds, sowed the seeds, one tills them with a plow. And here one tills with the plow of faith. With faith, one tills these fields of merit. So therefore, it advises that one should try to accumulate as much merit as possible through relying on the 3 jewels. Yes. So then the next text continues to quote from another text called Praise and Honor of One Worthy of Honor. And here he praises the Bhagavan Buddha. There is no field of merit like you that exists in the 3 worlds. Here it says the Bhagavan Buddha, praising Bhagavan Buddha as being the most supreme field of merit throughout all the entirety of the 3 worlds of existence. And next it says, you are the supreme recipient of gifts, the pure one who makes a row of monks pure. So whenever the Buddha and his disciples received offerings, his gathering of monks received offerings, they would sit in rows, and the Buddha would sit in the front of all the rows. And during that time, whatever offerings that are made to the Buddha and the Sangha, through the Buddha's blessings, the Sangha does not become contaminated by pollution of not being worthy of these offerings, pollution through receiving offerings. That kind of pollution does not come into being due to the blessing of the Buddha. So therefore here it says you're the pure one who makes a row of monks pure. So therefore it refers to this quality of the Buddha. Yes. Don't begin, get them. Just don't bagi, don't bagi, yes, yes, take again. Yes, to you. Yes, 这张图你加油，图 yes. So also there was an incident whereby a non-Buddhist, a non-Buddhist had invited the Buddha and his disciples to receive offerings the next day, to a meal, offering a meal the next day. So and that person being non-Buddhist, the person who was a non-Buddhist had planned to harm the Buddha and his disciples by putting poison into the food that he was going to offer. And so the Buddha, through his omniscient mind, having known of this, then told the disciples, tomorrow when we proceed to this place to receive offerings, do not partake of the food before the Buddha does, you know. And so in this way, then the next day during the actual offering of food, the Buddha and his disciples went forth to the site of the offering and displayed many miraculous signs. And through doing so, the non-Buddhist was offering the food, generated a lot of faith, and then they decided, then warned the Buddha that he had put poison in the food to harm the Buddha. So the Buddha
the Buddhist disciples, so every one of them came towards the benefactor who invited food. Who's the Hindu? So the husband. So the Buddhist disciples went first with so much psychic powers, you know, manifesting incredible, glorious forms. And then Buddha went there at the house through the space with the psychic power. So then the family, the husband, the Hindu, got so much devotion, moved his mind so much by seeing all the glorification of the psychic power. See, the disciples and the Buddha. So then he declared to the Buddha that I put poison in the food. So then Buddha said, it doesn't matter. So Buddha, it's okay. The benefactor, the husband, he said that I'll make new food. He said, I'll make new food. Please don't take this food. So then Buddha said, you don't need to make new food. And so Buddha said, because Buddha cannot be harmed by a person. So then same all the disciples, they took their food. That family, the husband put poison.
Nāngi tātū mā jīvi chūtū shīngi dā chitāwa chōna mēnzō nō jīvi nāmbā mō tō mā shīsī mō tā rōsa. Rē tā nāngi tā 내가 세 인생에 남게 다 소통야 요 말이 대한 논제 남게 레다 주의링동 주 내가 세 요리세야 다 신간 내가 세 요리세는 제작동야 매워지 대한 논제는 손지 좀 내나 멤버 다펜 멤버 펜도 봐요 노바지 봐이나 디 넘버 멤버다 다 세송야 요 말이 소원.
Then the next verse says, just as the height and breadth of the firmament have no limit, there is no limit to the fruition of helping or harming you. So here it gives an analogy of space. The limits of space, there's no way one can describe the limits of space, that it is this broad or it is this vast, such vastness and so forth. This is beyond the limits of space are totally beyond description. One cannot put a limit on that, and also one cannot measure space in terms of its height, how high it goes, and in terms of its breadth, how vast it is. So these are totally beyond descriptions. So likewise, similar, there is also no limit to the fruition of the acts of harming or helping the Buddha. And if one benefits the Buddha or makes offerings, reverence to the Buddha, and so forth. And the positive effects of that and the negative effects of harming the Buddha, the results of, the ripening results of such actions are totally beyond any limits. Yes.
So the previous story, what Rinpoche explained, is connected to this sutra quotation, where it says that you are the supreme recipient of gifts, after that, the pure one who makes a row of monks pure. So that, let me say, the story is connected, that commentary of that.
이말이다. 생긴 졸라 담아비 생긴 통삼은 매반데 오걸 땅성은 면도비 군전 줘봐 뒤담제도 좀 맞아와서 다 다긴 공원도 중앙 나온 신실 신가 여보지 요한이나 아니 될 상원다야 레비나 폰심 침보지그래서 내가 군조라 다 생긴 초래 될라 줘봐 제주 맞아나 폰심 지금 말아 지금도 와 근데 대가 나저 제동도 야보면도 들리다 뒤 담제도 군전 줘봐 좀 거래서 이제 뭐지 남자 나오는
So next in the text, again, Lama Tsongkhapa gives advice referring to the verses he had mentioned before, quoted before, saying that in general, when we have an ordinary piece of fertile field, and if we were to miss out on the planting season, miss out sowing seeds during the planting season, one would feel a great sense of loss. However, with regards to the three jewels, who are the supreme fields of merit, if we do not take the opportunity to sow the seeds of goodness and happiness in such supreme fields of merit, we do not feel the loss. So therefore, this is something that we should not do, and we should strive at all times to constantly sow the seeds of goodness and happiness, creating merit, by relying on the three jewels as the field of merit. Yes.
이 말이다. 뒤에 담제도 군전 줘봐 좀 받지. 대달 제반이나 생담마다 계좌주면 퇴원래 남자를 만나는 노예도 제재선 로비 년나 책임에서 삼나 도움을 겁나 주도 매제비 노예 또 신도 중에 뒤에서 생이 돌아다면 명안이 나와 단단 알아서 그게 그래다 손은 시람해 가지 다 생고만에 전에 주로 마고만 인도 단단 남성 년바 있나요 찌대 세마도 제로야 대 돈다 삼도 돈바 있나요 돈다 하면 뭐지 된다게 그 노이 누가 충용 차대요래 노이 누가 충용인데 차대요 까불라 다 노이 또비야 제야라 가르치고 있으나 네 군조도서 너무 싸고 그래서 군조서 너무 싸와 있나 네 게자티 또비에 노이 또 제제선로 된다 용거래서 인도 다 생게 단다 내 도모 값을 소수 공바다 근데 생게 토다 템바 제비나 생게 토다 템바데 개치야 요래. 근데 이제 생긴 돌았던 바 맹아이 넣어서.
So then the text continues with Lama Tsongkhapa saying that now presently we have less merit. We do not possess much merit, and also due to our in our previous lifetimes we have not been accustomed to the Dharma. Hence we do not have a lot of Dharma imprints of the Dharma in our mind streams, and therefore when we listen to the Dharma we cannot we find difficulty in immediately retaining the Dharma knowledge that we hear in our memory. We have difficulty retaining it in our memory, and also when we contemplate upon Dharma, we find a difficulty in understanding whatever the Dharma is. Have difficulty understanding, and therefore our minds or intelligence, our wisdom is weak. And in order to increase such capacity of our intelligence, one needs to rely on the three jewels. And create merit, to accumulate merit, virtue, on reliance on the three jewels. And in this way, the power of our wisdom or our intelligence, our minds would increase. And since we are beginners along the path, and it is more important to, instead of relying on one's own power or one's own ability, it is more important to rely on the power of the three jewels in the initial stages of the path. Through accumulating merit and hence increasing our ability to progress along the path. So therefore in the initial stages of the path it's more important to rely on the power of the other, which is the power of the three jewels. And here, hence this is the instruction that is given here. Yes.
말다. 생긴도 된 마세야 돼. 가진 지시를 봐. 인존다, 존주sem다. 용다가 따와. 된르게 sem마 맞지 마종이나. 아니 계속 강제 담지. 다 개발되려와되나 고발은 고야기 존로되 그래서 병원도 공무원 맞지 토바이나요. 용 공고발은 고되기어래. 된르인도 된르게 마셈에 계속 파지다 된르레스. 이나요. 생긴 돌았던 망가래 마도스. 근데 생긴 돌았던 때문에나 민족도 연도 답이 마세나요. 답아 담지심이 존로와요. 그래서 말이. 인도연다 군조는 매네는 줘봐줘야 돼. 개침물이. 군조는 매는 줘봐줘야 민족도 연도 답아 되게 마세나요. 된 리브 답아 담지심이 존 그러그래서 근데 좀 내게 빼도 되는 성요래.
So hence by relying on the power of the other, which refers to relying on the power of the three jewels, as you mentioned the last time, with regards to this, whatever virtuous actions that we accumulate, whatever merit we accrue, that is not bound by the minds of renunciation, bodhicitta, or the pure view of emptiness, the correct view of emptiness. All the virtues that they are separate, they're not bound by these three principles of the path, then all the virtues become only the causes of cyclic existence, of circling within samsara. However much virtue created that is separated from these three principles, then the virtue can, at best, will only cause us to achieve a better rebirth, such as in the higher realms of gods and humans. However, these are still considered to be samsaric states, and one will be still circling within cyclic existence. But here, then Lama Tsongkhapa says, with exception on relying on the power of the other. Here, relying on the power of the other refers to relying on the power of three jewels. All the virtues that one creates in relation to the three jewels become only the causes for liberation and attaining the state of omniscient Buddhahood. Therefore, it is important to constantly make offerings to the three jewels, because such virtue created, even though not bound by thoughts of renunciation, bodhicitta, or the pure view of emptiness, they still become only the causes for achieving liberation from samsara and the omniscient state of Buddhahood by relying on the power of the three jewels. So this is what Lama Tsongkhapa has instructed. Yes.
그래, 나 좀 내게 난다.
Okay, so this was all mentioned by the Buddha with example, with analogies. Yes.
좀 내게 난다. 너 ninja 좀 배마 가보세요. 대노나 선발에. 대용 안에 그게 침다 제게 신가 야고 신가 송보지 와지. 대노나네 상황용 그게 부다고 졌다. 근데 저다 뇌에서 간가 요하지. 전례적인 상황에 다저 제먹어서 신바닥 상황 좀 맞지. 다 제먹어서 나와이나. 뒤색되게 맞아 제기를 해서 공가 오더니 대체가 말이 그게 주도 뇌도 상황 간가 소원의 요한인데 주도 소원이다 리브제 용으로. 근데 대대다 점다되게 맞지 쇼스 제먹어서 나나 맞지와 자기를 해서 대차가 말해서 주도거나 대노시니 손절을 뭐 계산지 신네 다대 타바탄지 좀 만져가 쇼서 모남자와 있나요? 근데 타바도 비전 로그레스 숨버.
이제 더 배만 가보네요.
이제 배만 가보세요.
이제 배만 가보. So in the Sutra of the Compassionate White Lotus, this particular text, the Buddha gives the analogy of a householder or layperson who plants seeds within a fertile
farmer.
Yes, a farmer who sows seeds within a fertile field and provides water and fertilizers for that plot of field, and then says to the plot, seeds, do not grow, do not sprout, do not grow. Then Buddha asks, Ananda, his attendant, and then would that be possible, with all these conditions present, and by his mere words, may these do not grow at all? Will that stop the growing of these seeds, the sprouting and growing of these seeds? Then Ananda replies, saying that's not possible. With all these conditions present, it is not possible to the mere words of the person to stop the growth of these seeds. So then the Buddha replied, and likewise, all the roots of virtue, they are created with relation to the Buddha. Even if one were to dedicate those roots of virtue, saying, may it never become the causes for liberation or omniscient state of Buddhahood, still all those roots of virtue will ripen into the results of liberation and omniscient states of Buddhahood. Yes.
The virtuous action done to the making offerings to the Triple Gem. So those actions. So once the action is done towards the Triple Gem, then the merit field. And then even you pray, once the virtuous action is done, then if you pray, to not receive the enlightenment, liberation enlightenment, then it doesn't stop. Just by praying that it won't stop. That definitely will bring the result, the liberation enlightenment.
신 제바진의 계좌 좀 멘토래 로인이 받지 제선 로그레스 대단요 만대 마코르제 년가 좀 같이 뭐 줘도 된다 야지 되지 좋아다 충분 신은 배운줄 시스마 따라서 대단 마코르세야 노본 바워셔야 공개 생이나 남로로 봐 대단 노본 바워셔야 돼 단년가 좀면 나 이 말이다 여가 밴드다 노네 근데 년자 최슈지 말이 년가 좀 나다 바워돼서 근데 그 년가 좀 개보시고지 요요래 근데 그 안데 년가 좀나 좀이야라 그래다 가봐 침보 손은 침보 대용 거야 돼. 좀 내내 저런나 때네 nghệ 야지도 이제 좋아진데 야 니르니르 야 펜로야 된데 정소스 공개 숨버리스 대농지 용거리스 너의 두지야
So with regards to relying on the special field of merit to increase one's intelligence, here Lama Tsongkhapa quotes from Sri Madrijetta, which is another name for what we call Lobang Bawo. Lobang Bawo is famous in his composition of poetry, famous amongst the Indian Panditas for his poetry, and is the most famous one and totally unequaled in his compositions. And here it says, by depending on you, Bhagavan, my mind, though weak, has broadened like a river in the rainy season, attaining great skill in composing poetry. So here, just like a river in the rainy season, increasing through relying upon the Buddha, his good fortune and his merit increased to such a great extent that it helped his skill in composing poetry. So here referring to, due to relying on the Buddha creating merit, his intelligence and wisdom had increased. So likewise, so will we receive such benefit also. Yes.
초반요 무보나 마토바 랑게 대바도 토바 인숨바 따라 대바요나 메라도 저도 누마서 초반아서 비전 초비 산세 메나 대다르차 요진도 도면이 보다는 선남인데 전제 조비는 다 좀만지 시설만네 보도비샤네 동 뒤포를 점마진시도 공부를 다 센데가 부부지 주시 문홍게 메데는 고고제 숨바던 라오스 이말다 초바 보여서야 돼 부약 무보 라토 말레스 이제 롱게 대발을 토대요 그래서 다 대발 요나니 그 초바 부약 무보 된데 매바 이나요 애니 다부 마소미 다 가서시야 노지 그 그래다 나사다 애니 쳐다 매도 이동 간르지 요나요 되지 르노네 푸 저기어레스 된단다 주주노나 저배가라니 단다 시반데 대제긴 줘봐 푸네 나는 선남들 전제된 주빈노지 다다 좀마지 선나도 메덴바 그래다 점 우보에서 뭐 전제 우보 침보 이 주빈노지 다라메 내다 지로지스 저놈의 투진 도다 되는 지로지스 손놈을 인도다 된데 부지요레스 다 요새 매번이나 다 된데 지난데 그래서 대한민국에는 맨라마도 매번이나 맨라니 그래 내게 제가 찾아 대제를 뭐지 공안 무연의 부여인도 대개요 손나 받으면 사용요레스 대제는 철라도 말하는 주부 지나요 서서요레 된데 인도 다또 초바 대발을 토대요 그래서
The next in the text it mentions that with regards to making offerings, the merit accrued does not depend, they are not determined by the actual materials that one offers. However, it depends mainly on the faith, on one's faith when one is making the offerings. If one has faith but one is deprived of material goods to offer, then one can offer unowned general phenomena such as lakes and wild flowers and fruit, forests and mountains and so forth. One can make offerings of scenery as well, and this way scenery of the natural environment. And this is also mentioned in the Guided Bodhisattva's Way of Life by Shantideva, in which it mentions something like, for those who are meritless and poor, who are deprived of material goods to offer, then they can make such mental offerings of unknown phenomena. and so please accept these offerings. So it's a verse like that. And if one does not have material offerings, then one can make such offerings. If one possesses nothing but a mandala, then one can make mandala offerings by visualizing the continents and Mount Meru and so forth, multiplying to millions and billions of different
100 billion
visualizing them transforming the 100 billion times of the mandala, and then making such offerings. Then one can accumulate great merit through that, and also one can make offering of water as well. Through these offerings one can accumulate great merit. Yes.
Imbarda Rona Yoshin, Dana Sonamid Tenjin des and Tendis Shubina, and Nomanjeke Medengo and Chibares, and the Podoveshani, Tuvur, Pudu, Jasa, Tuvur, Tremachin Nona, and the Bombu retabs, Bombu, and up all the Regona, Sachi Chin, Hitzawa, Tremamo, the Unichi, Telegita, the Tamnani, you put him to Gona, Zenenda, Kaburda, Tele. Riches on Boyes and the Purina. Rengaron Maribidon again. No one check it. Jomden, she that I'm Jimmy of the Magilla, Gogo Java and Dares, and then the Rogo Mares. Yosin, the man at the church.
So, however, if one has abilities, one has these material possessions to make offerings and does not offer them, then here it says it's like a blind person trying to fool a person with sight. It says by dropping a bit of salt incense. Rinpoche says here that this kind of incense is actually like a low quality thing. It's the kind of grass that grows in the meadows and in the mountains. And this kind of grass, when you pull it up, then the roots are sort of have like a mediocre kind of fragrance about it. So then it would be like this blind person dropping a bit of it, this kind of incense, this kind of roots, into a smelly conch cup, some kind of container, the very dirty container, and then saying that this is water standard with sandalwood and camphor. So here Rinpoche says this is an analogy given whereby we sentient beings are blinded by the darkness of ignorance. So therefore, the analogy of a blind person, whereas the Buddha is like a sighted person, due to the Buddha's omniscient mind, knowing all the objects of knowledge. So it would be like we trying to fool the Buddha by offering mediocre things. So therefore, if we possess material goods, we should make proper offerings. If the exception given to those who do not possess such material possessions to make offerings, then one will be able to make the offerings as mentioned before. Yes.
Yambarida, Chobanyo, Chungamato Puya Meva Yinayo, and the tape. Then is a combination, Chobache Puya Yungares. Pombogan Chunjunzilla, Nijus and the Puma Buyomaris, Payo Yavayina, and that, Tendejan, Mezzer Rombo Colonna, and Choba Puya Meva and the Chadu rest, then the Yendu, Choba Chung and the Pugo rest. Then on that, Kadam Kumjison and the Pujuma Shua Conge, Shane, Netombo Pombu not cutting him up, Tombo, Tagi Rekon the Koja, Pombu say at Puvanis. That, then, Pu, Tendejan, Te Gila, then the Rimbushi Jung asking Burjuchon, Pu Nagaji Yambuchi and Rimbu, Pu, Zuja, Pu Turkis on Tendon Burjuchon. That Helayon, Nendeji Puyungu, Teji Tata, Agaroton, Torokala Soba, the Toroka Agaro Nago, Agaro Cabo de Treshimba, or what the name. Songing on Bojuchong, the song. The Congress Zomba Noji, Choba Chung and Maniachi, Pugores. That children in the Dejavan and the Chezon the Rone, Congress Zomba Noji, and Jungares. 공개 장년 달라대다 송칭한 모습은 조바 중년에 뭐 새로운 대라진도 출연에 되는 재정도 공개 장년 달라대 공개 리지라 세선이 시장이 부지하게 그래서 공개다 군전 조배 체대네 초바도 조체 농교래 나 가담 금지 섬게 남달면다 이스 다 부정하게네 초바 조어진 부부연도 공개 리지라 세선이 시장이게 부 수바이스 소인버 근데 공 초바 조어노 기지보도 아니나 공개 내가 견디는 초바 조어노 기지쟁아이나 공개 구성도 된 인야 조어노 단다 감미다는 초바 조어노니 부정하지 근데 공개 산에 논신 제는 초바 보고를 해서 정말
So then, next the text says, if one has nothing to offer but small amounts and small offerings, still one should make an offering of that. One should not despise that offering. Sometimes we have only nothing but a small amount, and we are to think that this is not worthy of offering, and to ignore making an offering of that. Then throughout the entirety of one's lifetime, one will not have anything to offer eventually. But if you want to offer even that small amount, then due to the merit accumulated from that, then gradually one will be able to make grander offerings, offerings of a larger scale. And here it says, Geshe Puchungwa, the great Kadampa master, Geshe Puchungwa, initially he had nothing to offer but what we mentioned before, the salt incense, this incense from the grass, roots of certain grass that grows in the wild. This meadow incense that had a very pungent odor that sort of like used to sting his nostrils, very sharp odor. And gradually accumulating the merit, then he was able to offer sweet-smelling long sticks of incense made from 4 substances. So it's like 4 different kinds of substances ground into powder and then made into sticks of incense. So he was able to offer that. And then it says, now I give aromatic agaru, turuska, and the like. So these are agaru is like aloe wood, and turuska is like some kind of very exotic kind of incense, very high-grade quality incense. So he was able to make such grand offerings eventually. And so...
Very scented smell.
Very scented
the
smell.
White agaru, the white one is very scented smell.
Yes.
Turuka is a black agaru.
Yes. So agaru refers to the white aloe wood, which has a very scented smell, and turuska is
Black
like
agaru.
there's a black aloe wood. So so these are very high grade quality offerings that he could make eventually due to merit of making small offerings. So so then it says, so for this, when one makes offerings in this way, gradually one's merit will increase. And here Rinpoche refers to the 3 brothers of the Kadampa. That mainly what are the main deeds in their life. And so Geshe Puchungwa, as we mentioned before, through gradually making offerings, eventually it was said that on one occasion he made an offering of an incense preparation that was worth in value of 22 gold coins, worth in value equivalent to 22 gold coins. And eventually you could make he makes such an extensive offering. So it's like his deeds. One of the major deeds that he made mainly made such a big offerings. And then next, the second brother was the Podowa. Then Podowa's main deeds was making offerings to the Sangha. Then the third is the Geshe Jengawa, and his main deeds were creating the holy objects and making holy objects, the holy body, holy speech, and holy minds of the Buddha, the representations of those. And so these are the main deeds. So Geshe Puchungwa eventually had enough merit that he could even offer this incense preparation equivalent to 22 gold coins. Yes.
그래다 조바 불고를 해서 내가 가시단다 그래다 엄마 다 하셔서 자기가 논지 보다 요는데 더제 개와게 손제 도마레스 예자 조바 부야다 되지게네 손지야 요마레 예세네 도제게자 강가 그래다 고바답돼서 된대 정보를 된대 제는 나나 샘나 개베 샘 손보 제주죠 말이스 당연 맞다 제 가고 그러와 근데 손동에도 간지 제가 있나요 타바도야 바제체기레스 나가라니 좀 아까보 나고 가르쳐오나요 니마 드브로도와 대대지과레스 텐데 시에체 다 검자고 거요 이름 맞지 검자고레스 텐데 신년지 중벌이 다 대다 근데 다 진호선은 텐데네 검자주 소와레 아니 줘봐야 해야다 돼서 그래다 가지게다 단나 답이전은 로고 말해서 손이 단는데 정보로 다 가지게네 돼서 돈이 고미하면 그게 제야래서 그 셈나 고미하고 요아이나 되지 다 바지게서 오는 거래 제지와 말해서 되니 된대 정보를 근데 다 지금 저게네 대라 단나 발가가 논데 그래서 다 추기 주면 말이야. 추다. 다 추기 주요하니 나 종주스마 요제는 원 톱되게. 그 요제다 메시지 먹어 롱 톱되게 요되게. 된대게 종주스마 사 동모가다. 된대게는 류 몸부터 류 자동 모tor 전에 손제신 다 자동 몸보는 대제 손제를 년 것이요. 류르르나노 라바자도나서 버터 텐데 제네 조바 부여레스 다 존조스마 산 통보를 내는 대제게 조바 텐데 제게 요인데 안조다 고야르마 텐데 인데 대서 추 주시라 메데베 그런 롱송 동기요레스 somma 좀 짜줘도 와서 내가 아제다 보여주는 게 자시에 대해 선호레스
So therefore, we should make offerings. In the past, there was this monk who came to Tibet and tried to spread these wrong views relating to Dharma called Haxiang. And so what he suggested was that all composite virtue do not become the cause of Buddhahood. One does not attain through relying on composite virtue. And whatever composite virtues such as making offerings and so forth, all these do not become the cause for enlightenment, attainment of Buddhahood. And so even if one generates virtue within one's mind, and virtuous states of mind, that does not become a cause of Buddhahood. So needless to say, even negative states of mind generally need to be prevented from arising, but even virtuous states of mind need not be generated because they do not become the cause for enlightenment. So this was what he was suggesting. And the analogy he gave was that the sky, even no matter whether white clouds appeared or dark clouds appeared, both white and dark clouds obscured the clarity of the sky. So therefore, one should not meditate on either virtue nor non-virtue, and one should just merely meditate by stopping all such thoughts from arising. So in this way, he sort of like created blasphemy of the Buddhist teachings. So a lot of people engage in this practice of meditating without thought. So then they mainly practice meditation without engaging in practice of making offerings, believing that making offerings were not the causes of liberation. And some people who thought that if they had good meditations on emptiness, on the nature of emptiness, then they did not need to make offerings because that would become an obstacle to their meditations. So Lama Tsongkhapa said that such people who say such things do not know the Dharma thoroughly. They do not know the Dharma. If they had known, then in the sutras it mentions of bodhisattvas who had achieved effortless mastery over a material phenomena, then these bodhisattvas would manifest hundreds and thousands of bodies, going to hundreds and thousands of Buddha fields. And then within those fields, manifesting hundreds and thousands of bodies, making hundreds and thousands of offerings. So very extensive offerings. The bodhisattvas would make such extensive offerings. And these were bodhisattvas who attain high levels, high grounds of realization. And so Lama Tsongkhapa said, even bodhisattvas with such high realizations were to do such things, as mentioned in the sutras. What more do we need to say of us sentient beings? Us ordinary beings, we need to do that as well. So therefore, Lama Tsongkhapa says that the previous blasphemies, as we mentioned just now, of not Noni and making offerings and so forth, these were not mentioned by the Buddha. These were like the own inventions of these own people. These people, their own inventions, and they were like childish banter. Yes.
대단히 답은 답이 선문지고 순지 주스면 뭐 시스마다 자고 나한테는 이제 얘들이 그래도 주스면 전부 데려게요. 는 줘봐 보고요. 인당 안 좋아는 줘봐 보고 그래서 대형은 군조진에 nende성 말해서 노대남네 손제다 손주스만 남제 그래다 손제 손주스만 남제 손제는 줘봐 간데서 보고요매 이 조비 남로면라 대가는 이거 데림로 제동 된대자치 뭐 송요래 대진예네 롱게네 대답 소녀도 저스만 하나 보고 그래서 다 가서 이제 된대 표야 매와이나 다 저스만 남제 간데스 노요나 된대게 조바다 지시로 가와고 가서 공나 조소 이제 대 감나 그저 조바 간데지 요이나 대다 탐지다 삼바답이 이 지시로지 된대제 거래서 지시로 제가 있는 다 세충을 선은 자진 보소요.
So hence, great bodhisattvas make such extensive offerings, and we should do likewise as well. So this is what Lama Tsongkhapa says. Then Lama Tsongkhapa goes on to quote from the Cloud of Jewels Sutra, which mentions about that we should study in the sutras how all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, how they make extensive offerings, how they went about making these offerings, what are the various types of offerings, vast types of offerings, and the various acts of service that they had offered. So in that manner, we should do likewise. We should do such likewise practice of offering. And if we were not able to make such offerings, then we should, through focusing on how they made these extensive offerings, we should cultivate the practice of rejoicing in the offerings that they had made, all the offerings and also rejoicing in all the offerings through all the world systems that are made to the three jewels. One should constantly cultivate a practice of rejoicing, simply because rejoicing itself is a practice that has little hardship, that constitutes little hardship, but yet one can accumulate vast amounts of merit through practicing rejoicing. Yes.
점리 나오자 이제 지수 준비 로가진 손대다는 거 봐. 단위 이제 좀 지수 준비해 거네. 예 점로는 거 봐서야. 같이 봐. 얘다 로가진라. 그래다 인지 온게 근데 점로다. 뭐 롱게 가서 진유지 거네. 점로는 거고 그래서. 얘다 점로 매신게 점로 매쟁게 대달라 하는 인지 제 대제는 원제요 네 점로 맞죠 단단요 점로 맞아야 얘나 아니 참마다 동안 용거를 그래 그저 점로 제야 얘나 네 참미 동안에 쪼그래 네 근데 얘는 대제는 동안에 잡이 체대다 점로는 모두 가지 좋나사는 점로 제거를 점로 제도로
So then we move on to the next precept of refuge, which is establishing other living beings in this practice by considering them with compassion. So here one needs to relate to other beings who do not practice, who have yet to enter in the practice of refuge with the thought of compassion. So due to the influence of one's own compassionate heart, one should establish as many beings as possible within one's ability, in one's ability, establish as many beings as possible on the path of refuge, practice of refuge, thinking that those beings who do not practice refuge now, then they would suffer at the time of death. So therefore, with the mind of compassion, thinking that if they were able to practice refuge, this would protect them from all fears at the time of death. So therefore, encouraging them to practice refuge in such a way and teaching them refuge and establishing them within such a practice. Yes.
자와제야다. 구반주야 된대게 제도 군조는 초바제야 잠로제야 된대고 레마도 다 대다는 면되는데 네 봉게 초바제야에서 너무 된대지나라고 말해. 된대지나 군조 너무하게 차로 그래. 연대는 다 자와 루비아게 제도는 군조 초바도 다요 말해. 군조 초바 부가이나 네 손남토 그래. 손남토 연도거나 sonam dembe me samman robse sumba ne kapsa samman do yada tato so shiwan yonde thoya dende yogiyo yindu le da chawa kande je yin na yo kunjo do so ban de yada kunjo chopa je ya te go ne do ko res.
So then the next precept of refuge says, whatever activity you engage in and whatever your purpose, make offerings and supplications to the three jewels, forsaking any other worldly methods. So he says here, if we are to come with any purpose, if we have any purpose or particular need that has to be accomplished, then one should, in all of these actions, one should make offerings to the three jewels and take refuge in the three jewels to accomplish these purposes. And one should abandon any other worldly methods that are dissimilar or do not conform to the ways of the three jewels, such as relying on the Bon religion or any other negative means. One should abandon those and take refuge in the three jewels, rely on the three jewels. If one were to engage in any practice that did not conform to the three jewels, then the three jewels would not be pleased. So therefore, there's no better method of accomplishing one's purposes than relying on the three jewels. Through making offerings to the three jewels and praying to the three jewels, one accumulates great merit, and due to the power of that merit, then all of the temporal goals and aims would be accomplished, and ultimately these merits also become the cause to achieve nirvana, whereby one goes beyond suffering. And hence, therefore, in the process of achieving all of our temporal aims and purposes, then one should continuously make offerings with three jewels and supplicate them. Yes.
이제 평영 전배 거네 다 평영 대답을 요도니 잡으면서 담면도 삼삼서 나 년내에서 천내에서 용다 년내에서 천내에서 된데 잡서로 거래서 무슨 말이야 이제다 대란에 평영 시국이 얼마 잡서로 평영 이제 잡서로 평영 대라 누가는 중에 평양도 명하는 중하고 와서 단다 그래다 뉴남 마디다 대전하는 제가 명하는 중하대 그래서 나 뒤는 누가는 중에 평양 소야 제지 명하는 중에 평양 와서 다 누가서다 가서 바바 도면 제배는 누가서야지 뒤는 안 평양 이제니 송바레스 이말다 돈보다 이제니래 이제니 이제지니 이제도 뭐 손은 자지 못 도바네 이제 돈보 너다 손은 자지 못 도바세야지 혹시 다 손은 자지 못 도바세 명하게 노나요 로 근데 자지 못 도바네 지명하듯 손에 손재정대 삼매제 담미주주 삼매제 바비겐대 삼매제 삼매제 대남제 남만뭐 삼매제 지다 파신 누반대죠 자선선은 소지나 감선되는데 잠도 좀 주대 포지자와 잠면이 시송바 따로 이말다 선은 자지 못 소고요 선은 자지 못 소야 가르세나 단다 지명하듯 손에서 좀 내려온 게요 군조 som나 대바제이나 대바든 초바지나 뒤남이 삼지면죠 삼지 맞아서 다 삼소매에 대해서는 삼나네 텐데게 손한지 못하고 요래서 손이 말해 대한항공에는 단다 파신 두바선다 된주 뭐뭐바는데 대나나 잡스 손에 평양한테 숙제에서는 이제 소지 조비오나 다데 감성 단다 노감성 감성면 감성 감성에 나오는 주야요 말이에요. 주투 말이에요. 숨을. 감성내요 노도 총자돼. 다 수견세 진 손님들에서 소수 좀 땡겨 왔다 지이나 감성에 나오는 감성내요 총자돼. 된대래서. 다 배라는 잠수 침보때 추에 때다고 추강은 뇌되게 다 세주메와 그래서는 차대요. 대다 푸스는 체인자야 근데 중중지게 근데 종가지 없는 근데 제외나 자소요 말 대대지 버려서
Then the next precept of refuge says, after you've understood the benefits, go for refuge 3 times in a day and 3 times at night. So when one has understood the benefits of going for refuge to 3 jewels, and understanding that there's no other method, greater method than taking refuge in the 3 jewels, then one should take refuge at least 3 times during the day and 3 times at night as a bare minimum. This is so one needs to do this practice. And due to knowing, so here it says knowing the benefits of refuge. So one needs to understand the benefits of refuge according to two ways. One is according to the compendium of determinations, this particular text, and the next is according to the personal instructions. So when the personal instructions here, which it says it refers to the teachings of the quick path or the swift path, this particular Lamrim text. And so the compendium of determinations is a text that is composed by Arya Sangha. And here it says, it explains the benefits of refuge in 2 sets of 4. So the first set of 4, firstly mentions that one will obtain vast merit through taking refuge in 3 jewels. So here it quotes from the immortal drumbeat formula or Dharani, and here within this scripture it says, the Bhagavan Buddha is inconceivable, the sublime teaching is also inconceivable, the noble community is inconceivable. For those having refuge in the inconceivable, the fruition is also inconceivable. So here what it says is that by taking refuge in the 3 jewels, one accumulates vast amounts of merit. And here the Buddha says that by generating faith in the 3 jewels, the amount of merit that one creates is inconceivable. One cannot even begin to imagine how vast the amount of merit is created, how vast it is, the amount of merit that is being created. It's totally beyond our conceptions, how we can even begin to conceive or think of such vast amounts of merit. And then next it quotes from Arya Sura's Compendium of Perfections. And here the scripture says, if the merit of going for refuge took form, even these three realms would be too small to contain it. A cupped hand cannot measure the great ocean, the storehouse of water. So it says, if one were to take refuge, and the merit from taking refuge were to physically take on a form, then even the three realms of existence, the desire realm, the form realm, and the formless realm, all these three realms would not be able to contain such a huge physical form. You know, if the merit of taking refuge took on a physical form and one could perceive it, all these three realms would not be able to contain it, be sufficient to contain it. And also the merit is so vast, it's like trying to measure the volume of water in the ocean, merely scooping with a cupped hand, you know. So if you go like one scoop, 2 scoops, 3 scoops, and trying to measure the amount of water in the ocean through doing that, then this would be impossible to do so because the ocean water is so vast. Likewise, the
great ocean is inexhaustible. The treasure of the water, inexhaustible.
So the waters of the oceans, it's like a treasury, the storehouse or the treasury of water. That's the poetic analogy given to the ocean. And such waters are inexhaustible, so it is impossible to measure them with merely a cupped hand. And so likewise, the amount of merits generated from taking refuge in the three jewels is totally beyond measure and conceivability. Yes.
Garden Chodaga Toba Yajivachi. Garden Chodaga Toba name, Trembe Somle, Kajin in the thing of the Sonji, on the Sonji, May never in she, Jenin, and Janis, and then Ravi Chapson, then you Lagin about the one yet or some the Gawach and Bedin Juba also. Imarta Jamruche, and Dana, Jamru Josone Gone, Kunjo Jamruchevina, and this also in Lot Devo, Simchibo Yungarua. Tenegeneta, Dagene, Kunjo the Tendi of the Akava Zomboyi, Reta Dag Niepa de Guanepa, Neneji Jumba the Shirakava Zombore, some Gawa the Yigawa Yungares, Gawa Chimbe the Yugares, somebody. That Germajagan and Chu the Juzi Yichi, but then Yokava Sonyam Jinji is in Kunjola. Jobs and road, the Kunjoli Yichi, but they don't cover so much over is somebody. That didn't know Jim, God and Yoga tops.
So here, the next, the second and the first set of four says, you will obtain both joy and supreme joy. So this is the benefit, the next benefit of going for refuge with three jewels. And here it quotes from a collection of indicative verses, which says, those who are recalling the Buddha during the day and at night go for refuge to him and gain the advantage of being human. So here, one should apply this to the other two jewels as well. Going for refuge to three jewels, one will attain both joy and supreme joy. So by going for refuge with faith to the three jewels, then one's mind becomes joyful and exhilarated. Thinking, I'm able to rely on the three jewels. I'm indeed extremely fortunate. And so by recalling this over and over again, the mind becomes more and more happy and joyful, more and more exhilarated. So here Lama Tsongkhapa says, by going for refuge to the three jewels, one is indeed fortunate. So the translation here says, I've really gotten something worth getting. So it simply means that by going for refuge to three jewels, one is indeed a fortunate being. Yes.
Because no no chigami nanamdu uncle yogin sen jo che inayo to lote tangen son 맞지 야 내로 톰로 그래 된게 노주 뭐 좀 버려 나 자좀 투바담 이제 된게 용용나 나도 단다 그게 그녀지 지게 대바다 아니 고항에 성인 지관 제네 텔레주비 누가 이거 시비고 잡서 송환이나 아니 손님 자치 뭐 소야 돼 다시 뭐 그래 근데 이거 가서 가봐 송보 차야 돼요 대차
Yes. So when one goes for refuge, we are able to go for refuge with three jewels, rely on the three jewels. We're indeed very fortunate beings, because general is considered a very rare opportunity to even hear of the name of the three jewels, let alone take refuge. And there have been many instances in the past of animals, at the time of death. If one were to recite the name of the three jewels by their ears, while they're passing on to the next life, and then hence, due to that blessing, then they do not fall into the lower migrations in the lower realms again. However, they achieve a the birth of the happy migratory being, the higher realms. So therefore, there are many such instances happening, occurring in the past. Just so therefore, for us, not only have heard of the name of the three jewels, the sound of the name of the three jewels, we also have the faith of conviction, through knowing through having fear, possessing the two qualities, the two causes of refuge: fear of the suffering of cyclic existence, as well as faith of conviction in the ability of the three jewels to protect us from such suffering. And through that, we go for refuge to the three jewels. In this way, we generate so much extensive, vast amounts of merit. So therefore, it is needless to say how fortunate we really are. Yes.
손은 자진 못하고 가와도 조가 토바 땡인데 남아다고 토바 이제는 너무 되는 말에 이제다 돈다단다 라바섬나 때네 에는 고와다 쪽에 조가 통로야 된다 송이 말에 다 잠리라자라 라비도거나 주름이 라바 용이어로 다 대거나 아니 땡인진다 아니 시럽지 라바지 대라 때네 고와다 조가 탈바토야 그 배용 용이래서
And then the next two benefits are, you will going for refuge to the three jewels, you will obtain concentration, and you will attain purity. So therefore, these by going for refuge to three jewels, one engages in the practice of the three higher trainings, and so engaging in practice of the three higher trainings, one achieves freedom or liberation from samsara. And here, when one cultivates the precepts of refuge, that one is already engaging in the practice of ethics, the higher training of ethics, and one further goes on to engage in the higher trainings of concentration and wisdom, and through that one achieves liberation from cyclic existence. Yes.
맹하는 중에 너하나니 너바도 받지 못해 봤어야죠. 다들 직관이 말. 제세님의 송화 전부 되면 제발 줘서 다 요용지. 로발메베 저바든지 사바든 용수세바든 용수도 반토바네. 또마도 주도 종을 받으면 저서서면 온게 랭에 마사바나 총화도 나반 줘로. 이마달로 가세 그래다 좀당에 매운게 아니 요모모 저기 요래 세대야 근데네 도마다 그래다 새로비 도마다 새로비 주다 근데는 뭐베 온게다 드바몬 보사지요지 대 드바 대제 다나 잠로 제비나 그래다 사바세 그게 대바데 사브르로 자와는 마다나요 사브르로야 용스 세바세데 다 그게 되고 정야데 사바세 인다 중용지 봐 정원에 사브르치면서 용스 세바세 인데 단 링스 바세 자 용스 도바세 되는 마드바 세바인 말이야 tende jamdo da tende yungares. Toma de judo ronga mu de jazo mo ga lenga sama de chuan da ban joros.
So then the second set of four of the benefits of going for refuge. The firstly, it says you will have great protection. So here, this section it will be explained later in the text. And it says here, the next one is that you will reduce, extinguish, and totally annihilate all obscurations derived from incorrect belief. So if one had previously gone for refuge to like non-Buddhist teachers, the outsider teachers, then or founders and their teachings, and due to their bad or incorrect, faulty tenets, then one might have generated strong afflictive emotions, the mental afflictions, and these mental afflictions, due to influence of the outsider or non-Buddhist teachers and their teachings, these would create a negative karma that becomes obscurations to our practice. So if one goes for refuge with 3 jewels, then this will clear away these negative karmas and their obscurations due to, so these will be cleared away. So even if it's not totally removed right away, but gradually the power of these bad karma or the obscurations will be reduced. The force of that will be reduced, and over time they will be extinguished and even totally annihilated without any remainder. Totally removed and annihilated. So all these, this is the benefit of going for refuge. Yes.
Jamro yabu chewe na ranyi ni jiwe tambi nonda tsugares, jiwe tambi nonda zhongya yungares. Te gandar se na da jamro che, ni jamro yoba yin na nomba sonje bi che de tsu yungi yore. Tene yin jiwe tambi nonda chubi sonoma chawa res, chik te yin bari. Da che la tomba da somba choba da tenpa da gabe ta namji yi dongo shi gawa juwa yin se. Da tombayo togni ba yongere, tomba joba to gende namyo togni ba yongeres. Date tomba da ane genduge semjege tomba do gonya yamarwa. Da semjege jamro chebe na da ndiga ko jamro chebe do da yogun ya lamna shone taba tamji mo toya yongere ka ya tsone deja gone togni bo yongere. Da no ji ka so da gabe ta na gawa yungares, temba gawe lana. Temba gawe lana kandid gawe orsena, nga zon de lala jiba de mo jamro cheni jibares. Da cheke mon dende cheke jamro cheke do. De jamro cheke yawayin da yuma thai nona cheni. Nga rozu chowa chagare sene konzo yiga. Da yawon do sene che de ju tende nongi yawares.
Then the next benefit is that you are counted amongst excellent persons who genuinely accomplish the sublime. So when one takes refuge in 3 jewels, you're counted amongst the excellent beings, because you become a Buddhist. You become an inner being or a Buddhist by taking refuge. Therefore, you're counted amongst the excellent persons. And the next benefit is that you delight and receive the approval of your teachers and religious companions, and of the deities who take joy in the teachings. So here, by taking refuge in the 3 jewels, you delight the founding Buddha, your spiritual masters, and the Sangha, the religious companions. Because these holy beings, in their holy minds, they think of nothing but sentient beings at all times. So having seen that, this one particular sentient being has taken refuge in the 3 jewels, gradually over time they will enter into the path and be able to achieve realizations and so forth. So therefore their holy minds become pleased. And also the gods who take joy in the teachings, who take joy in the Buddhist teachings, having seen us taking refuge, then they also generate joy. They also become delighted. Because they can see that due to this particular being, taking refuge and practicing the path, cultivating the path, accumulate huge merit, and therefore in the future they will be reborn in the God realms. They will achieve higher rebirths like in the God realms, and therefore they will become their companions. They will become companions of those who are already in the God realms. Therefore, those gods who rejoice in the teachings also would be delighted by our practice of refuge. Yes.
인디다 레페연데다 삼백원에 니네섬 테네섬도 근데 잡죠 로야 납자레데다 제고요리 근데 제비나 소소네 고노다 레다 조와 마다와노 좀 예나요 시행에 터다 때네 레다나 타바도 양이 저는 거기서 somma hindu 레다
So in this way, through contemplating over and over again these benefits of going for refuge in three jewels, one should cultivate, engage in the practice of taking refuge in three jewels at least 3 times during the day and 3 times at night. And then cultivating these practice of the refuge precepts. And even though our motivation or mental intention may not be pure, however, due to the relying on the power of the supreme field of merit, the 3 jewels, and all the actions, in relation to this supreme field, become the cause for liberation and attaining an omniscient state of Buddhahood. So therefore, it is very important that we cultivate this practice of refuge. Yes.
So
whatever teachings we have heard, please engage in the actual practice.
Dada Shinji Tuzumanda Devi Sonye Lade Yawa Loza Java Yamba Yurimba Juro. This is just one here. There. Here the book said, a cupped hand cannot measure the great ocean, the storehouse of water. In the Tibetan, there's no storehouse. It's the treasure of water. The great ocean, the treasure of the water. So there's difference. Treasure of the house. House contains treasure, and the treasure, there's differences. So that means treasure. But then I think all these teachers, that means that in Tibetan it says Dompa. Dompa means a founder. So it's not talking about one's own teacher. So that.